I'll have a... Oh, I can't say anymore, I'll get demonetized. Darn, I was going to do my Elvis impersonation for you.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go.
Well, Nashville is growing really fast, and we've lost two of the big antique malls because the property values went up so fast that they got replaced, but there are a lot of cool little hipster districts and vintage clothing and other vintage stores coming in to replace them. And there are thrift stores, and here we have, in this little place on Charlotte Pike, the Unique Thrift Store. And we will see how unique it is, but I'm excited by the name. We can do some window shopping. I see some embroidered linens, and I see, well, glassware and furniture. So let's go in and see what they have on their shelves. There's this plastic horse, which is very fabulous. Well, here's Riedel. 2003, but it's in a can and it's $8. This might be something because that's a good brand. Old cedar chest and an acrylic case that could be useful for shows. This could have been used in a candy store or a hardware store. It's an old Detecto scale made in Brooklyn, New York, USA, back when Brooklyn was its own separate borough. $75. This looks like it's Latin American gourd art. We're, of course, hoping it's Bitosi pottery. I think Los Angeles Potteries made this. Yes, they did. There's the mark on the bottom. This is a late 70s piece. They did a lot of large items related to spaghetti bowls and other serving pieces like that, so I guess the cheese shaker is an appropriate piece for them. And let's see who did this hand-painted little pot. It could be Bulgarian slipware. That's my best guess, is that it's Eastern European. $9.99. This is $120, and it's got a lot of evidence of handwork the way that it's done. It's not wildly old, but a lot of this is handmade. It's reclaimed wood, and so it is old wood, and that's why it has that look. There are some people who like these forms in mid-century. These are Drexel, and the handles, the way that they go flush mount, is something that was very new in concept in the 1970s. This one's priced at $369, and the little side table at $124. This one has pickling, you can tell because it's got those little dots in it. And these are by the Lane Company out of the 70s. The two little pedestals are $229 and the end tables are $189. So, you know, they're not afraid to put prices on things. I've seen some things that I think are a decent deal, but I'm not seeing thrift store bargains on the stuff that I like. Maybe we'll find a new shirt.
The Coke?
The Coca-Cola stuff, that's Godfather's Pizza premiums out of the late 70s, early 80s, but they do have a Nixon Now floppy hat that would have been worn at one of the conventions, and I am curious to see how much that's going to cost. And I like these magnetic, I've sold these a few times before, they're magnetic playing cards, so if you're out on your boat and you want to play cards, the cards stick to it so that they don't blow all over the lake. Now, it's entirely possible that this Levi's belt would be worth some money with the two old leather buckle there. That might date back even as far as the 70s or 80s. And you have a belt system buckle, so we know that's before, gosh, 1983. Well, one problem with hipster thrift stores, as much fun as they are to look through, is that they often charge hipster prices, and everything that was interesting in there was full retail. Well, if we're going to go hipster, then we're going to go to this place because this looks fun. This is called Cool Stuff, Weird Things. And I like cool stuff and weird things and weird stuff and cool things and all sorts of things. So we're going to definitely check this one out. They have spelled weird incorrectly on that one sign. Everything else makes sense, though. We can have our picture taken with Elvis. I'll have a Oh, I can't say anymore. I'll get demonetized. Darn, I was going to do my Elvis impersonation for you. Impersonation. It says right on the door, it's cooler than the coolest spot in town. This must be the cooler spot in town. Now this place is more of a boutique, but they do have some old stuff here, but you have to be careful in a place like this because like this sign looks old, but it's absolutely not. Stacks of these all over the place. These are coming from offshore by the gross. But here we've got some old stuff. Here's the Hull Chinese red ball pitcher for $15, which is not a bad price. And the very famous caddy with the dog, where you put your wallet here and your keys or coins here. These look like they're new old stock. I like this. It's a catalog page, so it's just been put in a frame, but they're really cute. 1917 to 18, of course, that's the end of World War I, so you see the men with their gals and the men have the doughboy stuff. Here we go, Stangled Birds. And because people are not necessarily looking for these in a hipster place, they've got $15 on this, and they've got $15 on that, and I'm going to take them both at those prices, because that's pretty cheap. Cheap! Country and Western is big here, so the horse lamp, which is very cool, is $75. This gal, well, if you don't wear a bra, sometimes things happen. She's $25. Now this one I may contemplate too. It's $20. It's from about 1910, but look at the headdress on that guy. Transferware with flower painting around, a little bit of an odd combination, but this is German Royal Saxe. This is going to date, like I say, to about the 1910s. It's got one little hairline crack right there, darn it. I'm glad I saw that, but I wish it wasn't there because otherwise I would have taken that. I think that would have sold in Spokane. This is cute with the little pinholes, and this is $15. This is a 1960s table lamp, and it's, you know, just a simple gray, but for that price, it's probably worth it. It's not wildly old, but this over bar light is a good look for Coca-Cola, $2.50 on that. It's interesting, in here it seems like the new stuff is more expensive and the old stuff is cheaper, which works for me. This is cute. This is Sirocco wood. This is a pipe holder, a pipe there, and you've got the horse in the middle, and for $15, oh, it's even got the label. I think I'm going to take that too. Here we go. We've got the old shell pen, West Nashville Shell Service pencil, and an old phone, 5-digit phone number. And then there's this plastic holder, but it's in an Art Deco pattern. The Morris Spring Action ball pen would have originally gone in there. It's from about 1950. Bless this mess. Made in USA. That might be Wilton, but it doesn't say so, so it's probably one of their other competitors. Little German piece there. Posters are $15 each, but these are all going to be reproductions. Fun store, though. There's a cool looking bookstore here. I'm not really in the mood or have the time to look up a whole bunch of books right now, but vintage fiction seems to be their thing. This place just sells furniture, but I love the old scale with the horoscope read in it. All right, so we are at another Southern Thrift. Adam wasn't with us for the first one, so this will be new to him. And actually, this particular one is new to me too. I have not been in here before. So let's see what this is like. This is $24.99, and it's supposed to look like the old Coca-Cola bow tie ones. Look at the splattered paint to make it look older. It's very lightweight. It has this decal, so you know it's not old. It's got a hanging hook, so those are reproduction. Well, this place is big and long and narrow and has a downstairs, so this looks promising. They've got a little bit more of this Coca-Cola repop. That seems to be a thing at Southern Thrift. They must have gotten a warehouse find. Oh, that looks like it's Copco. Yeah, that's not bad. Not at all. How much is it? It's heavy as can be. $10? Yeah, you're right. That is a good. What does it look like inside? It's not the most exciting color, but I think it's good enough no one cares. Oh, yeah, that's bothersome, unfortunately. Yeah, chips are a problem because people really want to use this stuff.
Yeah, I just got that enamel stuff.
Cornflower blue out of our childhood that is now Everybody did. I don't know any house that didn't have that in it, especially in Kitsap County. Luster pitcher, 1930s, I'd say, with the Bavaria mark. Well, that's a pretty dish. Made in Japan, believe it or not, but it's losing some of the coloring. This is why we call it fired on. It's on the surface, not in the glass, and that's because red is a little more expensive to produce. Pier 1.
Not made anymore.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, somebody might be interested in that because of that. Here's an older pattern. This is Skytone. And they had various patterns on it, but Skytone is by Homer Laughlin, who makes Fiesta. These blue plates, well, there's your blue plate special. This one has a date code that says 1964. This false graph pattern was made in the USA, and at some point people will be collecting these because of that. Well, here's a cart that just came out, and after my penguin find at Salvation Army, I'm definitely looking at carts when they first roll out if I happen to be around them. I don't see anything old on these. There's another one here that just rolled out. I don't see anything that's really my taste here, but these are the Indiana glass that are very nicely made, and they look like Fostoria American, but you see that big seam down them, and Fostoria didn't do that kind of seam. They would have polished that out, so that's a way to tell the difference. Chinese paperweight. Butter dishes do sell around Easter because they go bad earlier than other parts of the dinnerware set. This one is Sheffield china out of Japan, but cute with the little flowers. And this is Wexford. This place is really jammed, so they have the art and the glass and things up on the high shelves, and that's actually good for me because I'm tall and I can see some of these things that are over people's heads that they might not notice otherwise. These Henkel knife blocks are worth something because the Henkel's knives are worth something. They're a little bit worn. This one could probably be oiled fine. This one where the wood is really lightened, and this one are probably a little too worn to buy. Let's see what they have on them. Oh dear, I knocked over an ampersand. 99 cents, that is cheap for what this is. Oh boy, are they gonna make me buy that? Well, it's a little worn right here. I think I'm gonna pass, but honestly, I probably should buy those. There is definitely money in the one that's in good shape. The last time I sold one online, I think I got $20 for it, so that would be a nice big percentage profit. But I have lots of things that I can sell online for 20 bucks, and I'm gonna stick to things that are a little more vintage. Well, now that Russia's gone, this might actually be worth something to somebody. It's priced at $2.99.
Oh my goodness.
Very nice. And no, I'm not holding that up every time I take a picture of myself, which is far too often these days. I never thought I'd be one of those guys who was constantly taking pictures of myself, and then I ended up with a YouTube channel, so there you go. Well, I'm gonna look here to see if this might be a Pendleton, although I doubt it. No, this is actually pretty recent. Something in this section of clothes smells like somebody left something in it that might be illegal. That does happen sometimes. It's not just money and jewelry you find in clothes. Sometimes you find contraband. We've certainly had that happen at estate sales where we had to flush it or throw it away. A lot of clear glass. The Wexford pitcher, the Indiana knockoff of Fostoria American, early American press glass, the usual things, but these are old. These are oyster and pearl. These are 1930s depression glass, and they are candlesticks. And it's an interesting pattern. I've always liked it. Okay, now this looks old school. It looks retro. It's got a good look to it. Of course, the bottom tells you it's not, but the other thing that tells you it's not is they're advertising how to make mojitos and appletinis. And we didn't have those back in the old days. No one had invented them yet. There's a whole row of little cabinets and doodads and figurines. I wondered, because I thought, gee, everything is up so high, no one's going to be able to see it, so maybe we'll find something in here. Because so far, the other one was a little more productive. Now these are, I believe, late 70s, early 80s Japanese fur home co. Actually, they're Taiwanese, so that's going to be 1980s when Taiwan starts being the place they made such things. A lot of doodads, but not anything really great. Wow, this place is fancy. It's got an elevator. We're going to take the elevator downstairs in the double-decker thrift store. Wow, I know.
This is like a department store.
It's so fancy.
It's like we're going to Frederick and Nelson.
Exactly, and what will be downstairs?
For your castanets. So the elevator operators used to have little castanets. They would click the floor numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's an interesting thing that, yeah, most people have not experienced.
Long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah. Second floor, housewares, wonderful antiques, great things that we're going to buy for really cheap and make lots of money on. We hope that's the floor we're on. Well, there's lots of books. There's lots of board games. See if there's anything older or vintage or potentially interesting for some reason. But I have to say, so far, the other Southern Thrift was more interesting. Well, my friend Stephanie at Thrifting Adventures always says that she likes to make money by thrifting and save money by thrifting. And if you needed an outdoor area for grilling or just to have a nice fire to sit out at night, well, $31 is a fraction of what these cost new. So that's a good example where you can save money by thrifting. We actually so far have found a phone mount for $4 and a duck head shirt that's perfect for $7.99. So we're saving money by thrifting here. I'm not finding any old stuff that I want to buy. But if you're in the business, you get to get bargains on a lot of other things besides old stuff because you're just going to be around it. And so it's a nice way to make your life less expensive. Well, my last hope for anything vintage is going to be the jewelry counter, but I just don't see anything old in this one. All right, so we're batting about 500 at Southern Thrift. We found 3 really good things at the first one, and we found, well, a couple of useful things at this one. But that's thrifting. You just don't know until you go. Where the sign says antiques and all of the new development is encroaching is this funky cool place, Misfits of Vintage. I follow them on Instagram. They're connected to the oddities store, Oddly Amazing Antiques in Clarksville, Tennessee, which I've shown you live a couple of times. And this place looks like it could really be fun. This brass swan table from the 80s with a little bit of repair and glass probably would sell pretty well. Made in Italy. This is definitely an 80s era thing that's coming back. And yes, the feet are interesting because they're claws and scales. Oh yes.
$50.
Oh no. So we buy your junk, then sell antiques. All prices are pre-haggled for you. I guess that means we're not going to expect a lot of discounts. Well, Zeno keeps telling me they're wanting these old cassette tape holders, and here's one now.
Oh, so it's just this here?
Under construction.
Okay, gotcha.
Look like the Sonneman style, but a lot of other companies started doing that, so I've never seen that particular set either, but they're cool. Big enameled butterfly pin here, $22.
I'm not sure what that is. I think it's a frog. It's a big frog.
That?
That now? I'm not sure. L26 USA, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Not too long
About
ago.
2 months ago.
2 months ago, really? Where were you before?
We were in limbo for a while just doing flea markets.
Oh, okay. The right is more precious than peace. We shall fight for the things that we have always carried nearest to our hearts. Such a task we dedicate our lives. Woodrow Wilson, 1917. That was when he was justifying going into the First World War after he ran on the pledge not to go into the First World War. This is for testing old radio tubes, and these do sell sometimes because the guys who do the old radio tubes, mostly men, are looking for these to actually be able to test the old tubes they find in estates because that's what they use to repair things. That's kind of a neat old statue.
Sure is.
That looks like the Wahoo symbol for the Cleveland Indians. I don't think it is, but it's got that look. Very politically incorrect these days. I'm not sure who did the red thing. It almost looks like Hager, but I don't recognize the pebbly glaze.
I recognizes that.
That's kind of neat. You got it okay? I bet it's heavy.
It's
Not super. It is cool. It's
No.
hang on to for say, like.
Yep.
home thing, right?
No, I think that's Hager. Yep, definitely Hager. $42. That's not actually a terrible price considering it's an interesting piece with that red glaze. That's the actual color there. Misty would not approve of these. Absolutely not. She does not like the clowns, but they're very 1970s, and I saw her holding something that looked like a clown the other day when she was on Vintage Rescue Squad, so I don't know about that. I think she might be crossing to the dark side. A paint by number of Jesus in a very old frame. Dillard's Employee of the Month, that's cool. Old photo album is empty right now. I don't know how much this little earring holder is out of the 70s, but he's cute. Let's see who made this piece. This one is Pigeon Forge pottery. I haven't seen this pink matte glaze with the gloss in the interior. The gloss glaze inside is to make it waterproof, of course. Remember the old days when Bruce Jenner was still around? There's his Wheaties box. They've turned ladders into shelves. That's an easy way to make shelves if you're doing shows. Oh, and they have one of these McCoy. I believe this is the Cascade pattern. I think I finally sold mine. Let's see what they have on theirs. The McCoy label is hard to see under that glaze, but it is there. And it's $32, which is just about exactly what I got for mine. J.W. Dant, genuine sour mash. Cool old bottle. Nice Murano bowl for $24, not bad. Louisville and Nashville, the Dixie line. Made by Railroad Ceramics. These were done after the railroads were going away as souvenirs. This is Lehigh Valley. I like this. It looks like some sort of a little ointment bottle. But it's actually Ayer's Cathartic Pills label on there. They've got some other neat embossed bottles here, including one here that I'm curious to see up close, just because Craven Brothers of Manchester. Trademark established 1840, so I think we're looking at Manchester in England rather than Manchester, Tennessee. You notice on this one, the mold seam stops right about at the neck, so the whole neck was applied, not just the top there. Golden Gate Bridge. Not sure who made this. This is one of these things, I think somebody made this at home, but that's really cool. Like this little elephant. And then this one is Disney, Dumbo, of course. You see the huge ears. This is Walt Disney Productions, Japan, $20. That's about right. Big old Roseville tea set here, actually. You don't see the teapots too often. That's Magnolia in the brown. The color and pattern are more common, but not the teapot. Georges Briard did designs on Columbia enamelware to help them stay in business in the 70s, and I believe this is one of his, priced at $40. We need to get this for his friend who's going to seminary.
All right, so we got the haul back home, and I'm going to show you what all I got. I didn't get a lot of items, but I got some good items and at good prices, so let's take a look. First was this great Adirondack frame in the middle with the I Am the Bread of Life. That's an 1890s print, and those Adirondack frames were very popular then, and they're very popular now. The frame itself, the print's a little damaged, but I'll probably leave it in there. I won't try to fix it or anything. I will leave it to the person who buys the frame whether they want to keep that or put something else in it. But the frame itself should be worth about $35 to $45. I paid $8.99. On the left and the right here we have Stangle birds. We have the pheasant here. I already had one of those in stock from a consignor, but the price was so good on this one I had to get another one. And then we have this wild bird here as well. Those were only $15 each, and even these days Stangle birds like that still should sell. I really like the Sirocco wood pipe stand, and I do have some pipes to sell, and the horse on it, it's kind of a perfect thing for Kentucky, so I'm glad I found that. And that was $12.
And then behind it, this really cute little poodle. This is an earring holder from the early 1970s. I only paid $4 for that, and I just think it's really sweet. Someone should be willing to pay $12 for that. This was a really interesting buy for me, this Hager piece with the couple dancing or embracing. I think they're dancing actually, because she looks like she's dipped way back. It looks like ballroom dancers. And I could not find this piece in red for sale anywhere. Red is not the easiest color for them to fire because it fires at a very low heat compared to other colors. And so they didn't like to make a lot of red, but it was really popular in the early 70s as a decorating accent and even in the late 60s. And so that piece I think could be a real sleeper. I paid $35 for it. I think it's worth at least $100 in that color because it's hard to find, and there were none for sale online that I could find. The red necklace on the right is so great. That's Czechoslovakian glass from the 1930s. It's a cute little choker. It's a great color. The one on the left there that was only $4.99, that's raw turquoise. And I have clients who look for raw turquoise to use to restring into other things, so that was a no-brainer. And then the one in the middle, this root beer color with the amber stones, this is Juliana. And that's why it was worth, it was worth paying a little bit more. You can see the way it's made there. I think with the earrings, it's probably worth somewhere in the $85 range. The red ball pitcher is Hall, and it's their very nice Chinese red from the late 30s. It's in excellent condition. It doesn't have any scratches or damage. This one I paid $15 for. It should sell for around $35. And the very last piece, this one's really cool, and I've got to give Zeno credit for this because he spotted it first and he did the research, and we found out that this was by Michael Lax, who was a designer for Highland. Now, Highland is a company that a lot of people kind of overlook, but they shouldn't because they had some really good designers. Those little marks on it will clean off. It's just sort of dirty. The store we got it in had just relocated, and they were just putting things out. I don't think they were even bothering to clean. They were just trying to get the store open. I was very happy to get this. It didn't have the traditional Highland mark. It just had the USA and the L26 mark, but we were able to identify it, and a very much identical one just sold recently for $125. I paid $35. So, well, the thrift stores ended up giving us a few real bargains. It was really honestly the specialty little antique and vintage shops where we found the stuff that was really good. So I was very happy overall with everything I got, and I can't wait to see how it does in the marketplace. So it's been very fun bringing this to you. Thrifting has been a lot of fun. I've been doing more of it lately because it's just what's been available to me. And you know, Nashville does not have as many big antique stores as it did a couple of years ago. So we have to look at little vintage shops and thrift stores and other places for sourcing when we're there. But every one of them had something interesting, something fun, and I'm very happy with what we got. And I think that the folks who like to buy things from me will be very happy with it too. So in the meantime, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Check me out on the social media you see below in the description. We've got links to everything. We have our website where you can go for appraisal information. We have memberships, including a new level 3 membership where you can be involved with me once a month in a live chat and market report where we talk what's happening in the antique market and take a different perspective each month on what that means. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that develops. You can click the join button or you can go to the membership link in the description. In the meantime, I'll see all of you later, and we'll have more fun in the antique and vintage world. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.